Hello, my name is Maya Swanis, and this video from the Gallagher Basics series covers primary law. In our last video, we reviewed the three branches of government and their relationship to the U.S. Constitution. In this video, we will cover the types of law that each branch creates. You can think of this as the delicious fruit that grows from each of the branches of this wondrous tree of government. As a point of order, note that the U.S. Constitution itself is a form of primary law, but it exists on its own rather than as a product of any of the three branches. You might even say that it is the primary law, as it is the supreme law of the land and authorizes the three branches to create law of their own. We're going to start with the legislative branch, which creates law by passing what are known as statutes. At the federal level, these statutes are codified in the U.S. Code, which is an ever-changing snapshot of the set of laws as they exist at any given period of time. I say ever-changing because as Congress enacts new statutes and amends or removes older ones, the U.S. Code is updated accordingly. The U.S. Code organizes laws by subject matter, and each subject has a numbered title. So, for example, all of the statutes related to the post office are grouped together, as are all of the statutes on the railroads. Agencies and departments of the executive branch create rules that are known as regulations. Regulations are meant to implement the laws passed by Congress. You can think of it like this. If Congress is the architect who creates the blueprints for the building, the regulations from the executive agencies and departments would be the type of carpet that can be used on the floors, the paint colors that can be selected for the walls, and the types of furniture that can be put in the building. In this way, the agencies are able to handle the nitty-gritty details that would be too cumbersome for Congress to debate and enact. The process by which agencies create regulations is fairly involved and is beyond the scope of this video. However, once those regulations are finalized, they are organized by subject and published in the Code of Federal Regulations, otherwise known as the CFR. Like the U.S. Code, the CFR's subject organization is done in titles. Note that while it would be convenient if the subject matter of the titles of the CFR were the same as those in the U.S. Code, that is not always the case. For example, both Title 21 of the CFR and the U.S. Code are related to food and drugs, whereas Title 10 of the CFR relates to energy, and Title 10 of the U.S. Code includes laws related to the armed forces. The last type of primary law we are discussing today is case law, which is the type of law created by the courts in the judicial branch. As mentioned in the first video in this series, the judicial branch interprets and applies the law. In practice, this means that after hearing the facts of a dispute between two or more parties and the legal arguments presented, a judge or panel of judges will review the facts in the relevant law and will create a written opinion outlining which party's argument they believe was correct. These written opinions, which are also sometimes called judicial decisions, are case law. Case law comes from each level of the court hierarchy. At the federal level, we have the district courts, then the courts of appeal, and the Supreme Court. Written opinions are generated by each level of court. If either of the parties disagrees with the court's written decision, they can appeal it to the next court in the hierarchy. It is important to note that everything related to law that is not primary law is considered a secondary source. Secondary sources interpret, analyze, explain, or criticize the law, and include things like law review articles, legal dictionaries, treatises, legal encyclopedias, study aids, and even the case books you read for class. Secondary sources are not, however, the law themselves. Secondary sources are going to be your best friends during law school as they will help you wade through tricky legal concepts and help you understand each of the types of primary law that we discussed here today. Check out our research guide on secondary sources for more information about where you can locate them and make them work for you. This has been Maya Swanis for the Gallagher Law Library. Please visit our website to learn more about the library's services, find research guides, and more. Thank you very much.